I'm going to make a bold claim here and assume you're human. Preposterous, I know. And chances are your skeleton looks kind of like this. And your organs like this. Now, we all have our differences, but this is a good baseline for the human body. The question is, though, how did we figure this out? Let me introduce you to this guy. Andreas Vesalius, or Vesalius if you were alive, like forever ago. This nicely clad, unshaven lad happened to take great interest in anatomy, as in he robbed the bodies of executed criminals, not looting, but taking the actual bodies themselves. Yeesh, the dedication is admirable. Back up. Right, in terms of anatomy, this Galen guy came first. He made drawings like this, and, it's a good start, but you can see the glaring issues already. The heart's in the wrong spot, the pelvis is... pelvises. Hold on. Okay, the pelves are split in two. There is only one bone in the lower half of each limb. The femurs are clover-shaped. You see my point? This, unacceptable. Absolutely not. Let's skip back forward, but not that far. December 31st, 1514, 6 in the morning. Nothing particularly interesting or significant happens in his childhood. Skipping again, stop. 19 years later. By now, he's already looked into anatomy, as adopting the job of one's father was tradition. He's fluent in Greek and Latin, and dabbled in Arabic and Hebrew. Now he's studying abroad in Paris. These famed men educated him while in Paris, but it just wasn't enough. Those who taught him laid not a finger on the subjects, having inexperienced barbers do the dirty work, messily slicing open only the abdomen and revealing basic organs as directed by the lecturer. On multiple occasions, Vesalius interferes and proceeds to lead the lecture himself. For this, surprisingly, he receives praise. First, Andreas Vesalius, a young man by Hercules, of singular zeal in the study of anatomy. With the aid of Vesalius and another, I have examined the muscles, veins, arteries, and nerves of the whole body, and demonstrated them to the students. Never would I have been able to accomplish my purpose in Paris if I had not taken the work into my own hands. For a time, he engaged in less than legal practices. As mentioned earlier, he trespassed and robbed just a little bit, not like anyone else was using those bodies. Through this intensive ritual, he completely and accurately memorized the skeletal system, able to name and describe any part of the skeleton which was placed in his hands. We approach his return home from Paris. Nearing 22 years old, he's already accomplished more than your average college student could dream of. In the next few months, he conducts the first public anatomy that had been held in Louvain in 18 years. A year after that, he gains a bachelor's degree in medicine before promptly committing multiple counts of robbery of bodies. Again, turns out the burgomaster of Louvain has some extra corpses in stock. How convenient, and donates them to Vesalius. After performing dissections on multiple bodies and repeatedly noticing many inconsistencies between the commonly accepted teachings of Galen and his own findings, he was again unsatisfied and left for Padua. During these dissections, however, he was largely criticized for not agreeing with the teachings of Galen, as they were considered sacred, and to not follow them to the letter was heresy. No such information exists between this point in time and when he gained the degree of Doctor of Medicine in the highest honors in December of 1537. Vesalius created many charts by his own hand of his findings, still influenced by Galen, but taking some liberty in adjusting the diagrams based on his own findings. These were so skillfully done that many of them were plagiarized, and so Vesalius formally published them in 1538, along with commissioned art by Johann Stephanus from Calcar. Within that time, he also edited and added to a manual created by Gunther of Andernach for his own students. Within this, he provided his own contributions and findings, including the fact that the pulse was synonymous with one's heartbeat. The next year, this guy was nominated to the criminal court of Padua, which opened many doors for Vesalius, seeing as he was quite invested in Vesalius's endeavors. His interest and position allowed him to alter convicted criminals' execution dates to the most convenient times possible in order to provide Vesalius with fresh corpses when needed. This led to many more public dissections observable by students of all kinds. However, Vesalius encountered increasing numbers of differences between his observations and Galen's teachings. He and his students quickly realized this could not be an error on the corpse's behalf, and Vesalius formally denounced Galen the winter of that same year. Note, this guy's been dead for a while. This wasn't an in-person thing. The reactions were not recorded by any trustworthy sources, however, it can be assumed that the more progressive of the group were thoroughly excited, with opposite reactions resulting from the other end of the spectrum. However controversial, this inspired many others after Vesalius to take action and speak out, the most significant being that of William Harvey around 1628. In his book On the Fabric of the Human Body, he proved Galen wrong in over 200 different ways. And this is how we went from this to this: dedication, determination, diplomacy, and debate.